Oftentimes people get very comfortable in their home and they kind of lose track of what really lets a home shine if they're not thinking about selling in the near future. So if they're in a situation where maybe this is their forever home, or they're going to be here for another 10, 15 years until the kids are out of college, whatever it might be, until they're ready to downsize, and they're just going about their day, living their life, whatever, doing the basic maintenance stuff that needs to be done, but not taking into account what really allows for resale value. That is something that is going to bite them down the line, when really what you should be thinking of all the time, anything that you do to your home, is what is going to bring the best resale value. Where is your money best spent? You really want to be thinking about curb appeal and exterior maintenance, home renovations with a good return on investment, and organizing and decluttering. These areas are going to make your life much easier just on your day to day and living in it, and you'll love your home that much more. But also, when it does come time to sell, these things are already in place. It's less that you have to invest in to get your home prepared, and you're going to get the biggest return. Curb appeal and exterior maintenance. Get your landscaping professionally done if you can. If you can't, just make sure it's neat and tidy. Ask a professional what types of shrubs and trees you should be planting, different heights of plants, all of these things that are visually, aesthetically pleasing. Get a professional's opinion. Really, what is going to bring the most out of your home, and making sure that you're thinking about things like, are the shrubs that you're planting going to grow too tall that they're going to start covering windows, or are they going to cause damage to your siding or your foundation because they were planted too close to your home? These are the types of things that are going to cause a problem well down the line that you might not be thinking about now. It might not actually be an issue for quite some time, but then when you go to sell, it is a problem and it's not reflecting your house in the greatest light. Your exterior maintenance, you want to make sure that you are painting your home regularly. If you have wood siding, that you are pressure washing and maintaining your vinyl siding, checking for any cracks and holes and having those things fixed, making sure that your windows are in good condition, the trim around your windows isn't rotting, and staying on top of those things, sealing things appropriately, making sure that all of these things are being maintained regularly so that you can extend the life of all of this. So that when you do want to sell down the line, there is still life left in your siding or in your roof, and it is still in good condition, and you're not shortening that lifespan and having to put money into replacing that, or having to accept less money from a potential buyer because it wasn't maintained properly throughout its lifespan. Renovations with a good return on ROI. Kitchens, bathrooms, people love that. Making sure that you're choosing quality products wherever you can. Try not to cheap out on the flooring, on the cabinetry, on your countertops. Choose products that are timeless, that people will always love. On the big items like this, like your flooring, your cabinets, go with something that's a little more classic if you can. I know these are things that some people will come back and say, I'm going to choose the things that I like, and that's great. But wherever you can, try to stay away from trends and stick with classic pieces that are more timeless, so that you don't have to deal with reselling a home that is dated. Keep the trendy things to the things that are easier to change. Paint colors, wallpapers, things like that, rugs. Try to keep your trends to stuff that is interchangeable, easier for you to swap out with something else, and not something that someone is going to look at and just see dollar signs to update it. Organizing and decluttering. This is something that I can work on too. A lot of people don't think about. They think about finally decluttering when they're ready to sell, and then they realize that they're going to need a good year to declutter and figure out what they're doing with all this stuff before they can go on the market. And it becomes a stress and anxiety, and sometimes even an embarrassment, where people realize how much stuff they've collected and they get frustrated with themselves, when in reality it is totally normal to collect these things over time. But if you just set a couple of times a year to kind of go over everything that you have and declutter, organize things, maybe have an area in your house where this is where you store extra stuff. And if it gets to the point where that is looking full and cluttered, well, then you have to purge. You can't let that leak over into some other part of the house or get another storage unit or a shed in the back. You have to purge. Set that commitment to yourself that you have to throw things away. You have to purge. You don't need to keep every single toy and piece of clothing and school assignment from all of your kids, I assure you they don't want all of those things later on. So truly go over what you have, go over it with your family and see what do people actually want? What is it that nobody has interest in at all? And try to just let that go if you have to. I know like it can be hard and there's sentimental value to things, but there are a lot of things that we keep because we think there's sentimental value to it, but in reality, there really isn't. And you never go back and even look at that stuff. I usually have a rule of if a box of stuff is sitting there for more than 6 months and I never touched it and I don't even know what's in it anymore, it's pretty safe to say that I don't need anything that's actually in it. And it's time to just get rid of it. And general repairs and maintenance. So your basic things, leaky faucets, you start seeing some leaky pipes kind of starting. Stay on top of that stuff. Make sure you're paying attention to it. It is a lot easier to maintain and a lot cheaper to maintain than it is to repair and replace things. So maintain what you can. Your boiler, your furnace, your hot water tank, make sure it's clean. It's free of clutter. Actually clean it. Have a regular time of year where you clean these things and you make sure that rust isn't developing on it, nothing is leaking, everything is working appropriately and efficiently. If you keep focused on these things while you're living in your home, regardless of what your plan is for the next year, 5 years, or 10 years, whatever, it doesn't even matter. I promise you, you will enjoy the time in your home so much more, and you will absolutely reap the benefits later on. Give me a shout if you have any questions or you need any tips or advice. I am here to be your resource.